Pure, good to see you. How you doing? Evening. How you been? How's things? Scott, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? How's things? Comatose, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? T, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hello, Miles. CMF, much news tonight. A lot of news tonight. There's a lot of things that's been happening in different jurisdictions around the world when it comes to cryptocurrencies. A lot of countries have decided to do U-turns on cryptocurrencies in a positive way. So tonight we're going to be covering quite a lot of news from, also some market news to go through as well. So Paris is having troubles right now regarding the Paris stock market. China's doing a U-turn maybe on cryptocurrencies, coming back inside the scene. Taiwan is doing a U-turn, coming back inside the scene, cryptocurrencies, green lighting it. Some banks are getting green light in different jurisdictions to come entering back into the crypto scenes. Hong Kong has just essentially green lighted one of their major banks. The second largest bank in another jurisdiction just got a green light. There's a lot of green lights happening around the world, which we're going to go for tonight's live show. There's a lot of things happening. Camel, good to see you, brother. How you doing? How you been? So yeah, a lot of news to go through. Dale, good to see you as well. How you doing? Second tonight, man. I'm getting slow. Let's go, Scott. Dennis, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Scott, I'm doing good. Miles, let's go. Carl, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? Joe, evening, Miles of CMF. Good to see you as well, Joe. How you doing? George, hi, Miles of CMF. Good to see you as well. How you doing? G, hi, Miles. Tell us some good news. Scott, there's a lot of good news to actually go through on tonight's live. A lot of positive things are happening inside the crypto space. Good evening, Professor Miles and the rest of the family. Good to see you as well, Funky brother. How you doing? Good evening, Miles and family. Hope everyone is well. Good to see you as well. How you doing, Ian? How you been? How was your phase 1 meeting for CoinMove? Good so far, I'll be honest. So let's go through just a breakdown of what we're going to go through on tonight's live show. And then we do the intro, disclaimer, and then by the time everyone's tuned in for the first part. On tonight's live show, on the CMF live show, we are going to be talking about Jerome Powell because he just did a recent speech at the 66th NABE annual meeting. So we're going to go through what Jerome Powell said and if it's going to have any sort of positive sentiments for the crypto space. Then we're going to be talking about BitThump, which is pretty much the largest crypto exchange out of South Korea, which is about to get green lighted as an IPO, which is major news. Then we're going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding the Paris Stock Exchange. The Paris Stock Exchange right now is going through some turbulence, which isn't good for the traditional financial space, but could be a massive positive for crypto assets. Then we're going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding Ohio. Ohio's senator has just pushed a bill to enable crypto payments for tax payments. So people in Ohio, sooner or later, will be able to pay their taxes using cryptocurrencies. Then we're going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding Donald Trump. So we all know Donald Trump has this crypto project with his son, and that he might not be represented, but his son is. And that Donald Trump's crypto project has just kickstarted their KYC, which is Know Your Customer Verifications. So we're going to go through that because that project seems to be launching. Then we're going to be talking about MicroStrategy on tonight's live show because MicroStrategy is getting ready to make their next purchase on Bitcoin, and it's a ridiculous amount if they go with the whole sum. Then we're going to go through the news topic of ex-finance minister Zhu Zhang, who is now urging essentially China to reconsider crypto policies and to get back into the game. Then we're going to go through on tonight's live show regarding the news topic of Japan. Japan is set to review crypto regulations and potentially tax cuts and fund investment opportunities to bring innovation back into Japan for the cryptocurrency sector and get more institutions involved. By the way, this is perfect timing for Japan because 2025 is when Japan's going to kickstart everything. Then we're going to be going through the news topic of Taiwan on tonight's live show. Taiwan is thinking about opening their markets to cryptocurrencies for professional investors, for retail investors. They're going to go into ETFs. Taiwan is going to go essentially the whole mile when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Then we're going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding Velo. Now, Velo has decided to debut essentially a physically backed Ethereum staking ETP on the London Stock Exchange. Now, this is another groundbreaking thing that's happening on the London Stock Exchange. Recently, the London Stock Exchange got their Bitcoin ETPs. Now, the London Stock Exchange is getting an Ethereum staking ETP, which is major announcements because it's something major that was lacking from Ethereum ETFs inside the United States, which was staking. And according to the SEC, staking makes it a security, but not in London, apparently. Then we're going to talk about on tonight's live show regarding the second largest bank in essentially Thailand getting green lighted for crypto assets. Then we're going to go through the news topic of Australia on tonight's live show. Australia, another bank in Australia has decided to join the Bank of International Settlements on their project Guardian. Then we're going to go through the news topic of a new crypto project that I'm looking into, and I thought I'll bring it up in case everybody else wants to look into it alongside me essentially. A lot of announcements to go through on tonight's live show. So before we go through any of that, I just want to say welcome to the CMF live show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, this is the CMF live show, stands for Crypto Mouse Family. And on this live show every single night on X and YouTube Live, I talk about the most recent things that's happening around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics, regulations, vital information for you to know about regarding the world transforming into a digital era. Also, we do Q&As on this project. We do Q&As on this live show as well, which means if you have any questions, do not be shy. Even if you are new inside the crypto space, put your questions down inside the comment section. And this is episode 169 of the CMF live show that starts 11:25 p.m. onwards, UK time, every single night on X and YouTube. The disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. Also, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that's retweeting this live show right now on X and liking this live show on X as well. I'm getting notifications. Thank you so much for doing that at the beginning, which essentially helps with the algorithm. And thank you so much to everyone on YouTube who's also liking this live show as well. And if you are new, welcome to the CMF live show. If you're a regular, let's go CMF. So, live show has officially started now. And the first news we are going to be covering on tonight's live show is regarding Jerome Powell's speech and the impact it could have on the crypto market space. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go through that. So let's see where we are. It was a weird person inside the comment section. Got them. Okay, let's see where we were inside the comment section. We were at here. Good evening, Miles and family. Hope everyone is well. Ian, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? How was your phase one meeting? Was great. What are your markets all in? Why are all the markets in red? It's just a little bit of slightly manipulation. Miles, I sent you a DM when the time permits. Ah, yes, Scott. Sorry, I forgot. I'll definitely check it after this live show. Hi, Miles of CMF. Grumpy, good to see you. How you doing? What's up, brother Miles of CMF? Below, good to see you. How you doing? Below, how you been? CMF members, if you do not mind, please share the live. Let's go. Facts. Below, let's go. Okay, I got rid of that person. Good evening, Miles and CMF Free Feather. Good to see you. How you doing? Hello to my CMF on YouTube. Let's go, Scott. Ian, yep, all right, blocked him. If you do not mind, please share the live. Let's go, Scott. I know the project Ethereum has to do this because they. Hi, Miles and JP. JP, good to see you, brother. How you doing? Orphan, good evening, Miles and CMF. Good to see you. How you doing? Now, Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell's optimistic on cooling U.S. inflation and Bitcoin rally imminent. So Jerome Powell essentially did a speech at the 66th NAAB essentially annual meeting, which we're about to go through right now. He talked about how the market space is and how the US data coming in through so far, how it's been, and what could potentially be happening as we go along in the months for this year. So Jerome Powell stated at the 66th NABE annual meeting that they are confident that inflation is on the sustainable path to dropping to their target of 2%. He further mentioned that they are confident also that the US economy is staying strong overall. He said the labor market is an area that has drawn concerns that the US economy might not be as healthy as it seems. However, the Fed's chair essentially stated that the labor market is solid and having cooled off from its volatile state 2 years ago. He added that they do not believe that they need to see more cooling in the labor markets to be confident that they are on the right tracks to achieving their 2% inflation target. Meanwhile, Jerome Powell also suggested that the Fed is in no hurry to cut interest rates any further this year. At the September FOMC meeting, the Fed chairman had stated that there would be 2 more 25 basis points rates cuts this year. However, in his latest speech, he warned that further rate cuts this year will depend on the incoming inflation data reports. He said that they would continue to assess the US economy meeting by meeting. The positive is that Jerome Powell is confident that the economy is heading in the right direction for the United States. He also assured that they won't hesitate to cut interest rates if the inflation data is favorable. Jerome Powell also said there could be another 50 basis rate cut this year if these inflation data are favorable. This aligns with the Federal Reserve's essentially Raphael Bostic, who hinted that he might favor another 50 basis points cut this year, while the Bitcoin price continues to rally. So despite Jerome Powell not assaulting that there could be more rate cuts this year, but suggesting there could be another 50 basis points instead of 2 rate cuts, 1 rate cut, but a 50 basis points, the Bitcoin price still boasts a bullish outlook so far. Could it continue this rally? The trading firm QCP Capital recently lauded the global monetary easing policies from countries like China, while stating that they expect BTC to benefit from such measures, giving it status as a risk-on asset. Moreover, Bitcoin is entering the fourth quarter when it records its most returns, typically, if we look at previous charts. It is worth mentioning that Bitcoin is heading for a positive monthly close in September. Historically, whenever that happens, the flagship crypto also closes in October, November, and December in the green. Therefore, the Bitcoin price is expected to extend its rally into October from a perspective coming from QCP Capital. Moreover, the crypto has only recorded negative returns on October twice in the past. QCP's Capital suggested that Bitcoin needs to break above $70,000 to reach new highs. The 10x Research founder Marcus predicted that Bitcoin could reclaim $70,000 in the next 2 weeks. He also essentially predicted that the flagship crypto will reach an all-time new high by late October. Whatever happens in October, the BTC price still is essentially boasting a bullish outlook in the long term. A perspective coming from this essentially CryptoQuant's CEO Ki Yong-ju, who recently stated that crypto is still in the middle of the bull cycle. He accompanied charts showing that the Bitcoin is still in some room to move to the upside before the price peaks in its bull run. So, from one perspective of a CEO, we're still in the middle of a bull cycle, it's just a very manipulative scenario. From another perspective of a different company, of a CEO of a capital company, his perspective is that in October we could be seeing something around $70,000 Bitcoins. Within 2 weeks is what his prediction is, or by the end of October. But in general, they're comparing charts from previous scenarios of where Bitcoin only did 2 bad incidences in October, but in general, it's a positive month for Bitcoin. It's a positive month for the rest of the months until the year ends. So they're expecting new heights. Now, if Jerome Powell does another 50 basis points cut this year, then we could definitely be seeing the markets rallying up again. So let's just see what happens. Are we going to be getting another rate cut from Jerome Powell? If so, is it going to be 50 basis points? The market essentially said they've priced in another 50 to 75 basis points. So the market, in terms of the Wall Street and the institutions and so on, they've already priced it in that we could be seeing 75 basis points or 50 basis points cut rates happening, but they haven't priced in 2 types of rate cuts happening, just one. It's either 50 or 75. Either one that happens is a positive for the crypto space. Now, what we're going to talk about next is regarding BitThumb. So BitThumb is the pretty much #1 crypto exchange in South Korea. And BitThumb is getting ready for an IPO. So Coinbase is not the only crypto company on the block who's on Wall Street for an IPO, and who's a public company now. BitThumb seems to be the next crypto exchange going for an IPO. They want to be listed on the NASDAQ. They said they want to be listed. They're going for their IPO, and that's that. Before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Once again, if you do have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. Do not be shy, even if you are new. Let's go inside the comment section. Let's see what's going on there first, and then we go back to BitThumb's news, which is major news regarding them going on the NASDAQ. I got rid of 2 guys. Thank you, JP, for that. Hi, Miles, and all CMF. Hope everyone is good and look forward for another great live. Let's go, Adi. How you doing? How you been? Can ACH reach $1 in 2025, in your opinion? Only opinion, no financial advice. Yes, I could see ACH reaching $1 in 2025. Yep, definitely. Q. Addy was Q. Tomorrow is starting the last quarter of the year. Everyone is waiting for this time. Considering variable changes, what do you expect to come? Considering variable change, what do I expect to come starting next month and onwards? Positive. The crypto space should start reacting positive because the news that's coming in is also, if MicroStrategy, so on tonight's live show, we're going to be talking about MicroStrategy as well, because MicroStrategy has just raised roughly, or they're raising right now, $1 billion, which, knowing MicroStrategy, most of that money, or all of that money, is going to go into repurchasing Bitcoin. That's just what this person does, Michael Saylor, in other words. So if he does that, and then we have a 50 basis rate cut as well on top of that, and with all the policies and regulations coming in, and the election coming in as well, and it's having a positive impact on cryptocurrencies and so on, it should be going on a positive outcome for the crypto space, unless we get major manipulation or a breakout of a major war, which again, it should still play out a positive way for cryptocurrencies. Even for Bitcoin, because I mean, Bitcoin is a risk-off asset. It's been in the same category as essentially gold from BlackRock's perspective as a risk-off asset. But cryptocurrencies in general for cross-border payments, even during times of war. And it does seem like war is escalating. I mean, one particular country is getting ready to enter into another country. Tomorrow is, so Miles, what is the reason the SEC appeal will reject if it happens? What is the reason that I would have that if the SEC essentially appealed against Ripple, they will get rejected? What I see it as is, look, there's two perspectives. When it comes to Ripple versus SEC, there's two perspectives. The first perspective on Ripple versus SEC is this is a genuine case. Number one, first perspective that some people have is that Ripple versus SEC is a genuine case, and it was the SEC going after Ripple to essentially, put them into a category, to sue them, make a little bit of money for themselves, and so on, or whatever. So Ripple versus SEC was a genuine case, and if it was a genuine case, and then the SEC lost, because when it came to the end result, they still weren't able to categorize XRP, the token, as a security, which was the number one reason the SEC even sued Ripple to categorize XRP as a security, which they lost that battle on. And then they lost the entire case when they were expecting $2 billion and in return got $125 million. And whatever the SEC had on Ripple, or whatever they thought they had on Ripple, they used it already in court battles. Whatever the SEC thought they had on Ripple, they used it. They used whatever evidence, whatever documentations, whatever data reports they had on Ripple, and they still couldn't win. They still couldn't categorize XRP as a security. They still couldn't get Ripple to pay the $2 billion fine they were requesting. So they lost. The SEC lost. The reason why I say the SEC will get rejected if they appeal is because the SEC has nothing left on Ripple. Whatever they had on Ripple, they already used it once, and they lost badly. They went through a year-on-year battle, and the end result was nothing for the SEC. $125 million after the headache they were put through, after millions of dollars spending in court battles, and they still couldn't get XRP categorized as a security. So the SEC lost. So whatever they had on Ripple, they already used it against Ripple. They got nothing left to go up against them. That's why I say if the SEC appeals against Ripple, first of all, you need to have grounds. You need to pick what part of the case you want to appeal. And then you're going to have grounds. So you're going to come to the judge and say, look, we're appealing this part of the case because of this and this and this. And then the judge will look at, essentially this and this and this and go, let's see. And then we'll say rejection or approved. But here's the thing. The SEC already used this and this and this against Ripple, and they still couldn't win. So they got nothing left. Because if they had criminating evidence against Ripple, if they had, essentially fraud against Ripple, manipulation against Ripple, corruption against Ripple, they already used it. They've got nothing left. And it didn't work. So, in my point of view, if the SEC appeals, they're getting rejected. Because you're going to have very, very strong grounds to appeal anything. And if they appeal and it gets rejected, it's even worse for the SEC. So if they appeal, they're going to get rejected. So, I mean, right now, Ripple's walking away happy. Ripple is walking away happy right now. And they should be. The SEC is a bit bitter. But if they appeal, they get rejected, it'll be even worse for the SEC. Because the case will then be cemented, in other words. So, I don't think the SEC will appeal. And I think if they do appeal, they're going to get rejected because they don't have any grounds. They have no more ammo left to go up against Ripple. Not in terms of a budget, but in terms of they got nothing else. They got no more data points, no more case files, because whatever they had, they already used. So if they go for an appeal, they're going to get rejected. Now, if we look at it from a different perspective, so that was perspective number one. which is SEC versus Ripple as a genuine case. The different perspective that people have inside the crypto space is that Ripple versus SEC is a big show, and it's just one big show, and we're the audience. That's the second perspective on Ripple versus SEC case. On that perspective, the show is started. Regulations are here. I said in 2023 that in 2024, the world is going to start shifting into a digital era. I said the end of the road is 2023 and the start of the world transforming into a digital era is 2024. And in 2024, I said that we're going to be having regulations. I said we're going to have more executives, more CEOs, more board members, more institutions than ever before in 2024. I said the Ripple case is going to come to an end in 2024. And I said all these things because everything inside the corporate sector is coordinated to happen. And I said the reason why in 2024, the Ripple versus SEC case will come to an end is because 2024 is when regulations happen. It's when institutions come in. It's when banks come in, which is what's happening. Banks are inside the crypto space now on paper. Institutions are inside the crypto space now on paper. Regulations are here. We have regulations from every jurisdiction around the world. Sure, we don't have major regulations coming out the United States directly themselves throughout Washington, D.C., but we do have regulations coming state by state inside the United States. Everything is coordinated to happen. So if it was one big show, then the show is over and adoption is about to start. So however perspective you look at it, perspective number one, it was a genuine case. The SEC lost. And they need grounds to come back in to appeal this case, which they don't have, because whatever evidence they had against Ripple or they thought they had was a strong evidence, they already used it and they lost. So they have nothing left to go up against Ripple to appeal this case. If they appeal it and get rejected, the SEC knows it'll be even worse for them because this case will get cemented. Perspective number two, if this case was just one big show, well, the show just ended. And that we're into regulations, we're into banks, we're into institutions. What have I always said? Ripple needs 3 green lights to be able to progress forwards. I said the case is 1 green light. It ends, that's 1 green light. I said the second green light is that regulations need to be in place because Ripple's clientele who are going to be using XRP is not really the retail section. It's institutions and banks, and institutions and banks need regulations in place because they don't like operating in gray areas. Gray areas leads to being sued by the CFTC or the SEC. And right now we're in regulations, which is green light 2. And then green light 3 is adoptions. So whatever perspective you look at it, it was a genuine case. That's it. It's finished. Appealing will make things worse for the SEC. And they will get rejected because they have nothing left to go up against Ripple. And if we look at it from a different perspective, it was one big show. Well, the show ended. And now we're going to go into adoption, aka regulations. As I said, this is the year. In 2023, I said this. I said 2024 is the year that the world transforms into a digital. I said the world shifts into a digital era, 2024. I said we're going to have more CEOs, more essentially board members, more executives, more institutions in 2024, which we have had. I said we're going to have regulations in 2024, which we did have. I said the Ripple case will end in 2024 because we're going into institutions. We're going to have more institutions. We're going to have more regulations, so on, more banks involved, which we do have. I said the Ripple case will end because of that. Because if it's one big show, then it has to end in 2024, which it did. The Ripple case ended in 2024. So whatever perspective you look at it, this case is over. Is quantum computing. So below, I'm hoping this helped you out, and I'm hoping this helped everybody else out that's seeing these tweets. A former SEC member says SEC is going to appeal. People tweeting out, I have a friend in the SEC, I have an acquaintance in the SEC who said they're going to appeal. They're not. Even if they do, they'll get rejected. They don't have any grounds. Whatever evidence they had, they already used it. And by the way, the judge or any judge that is going to be for the Ripple versus SEC case is a lot more cautious right now because the SEC lied to a judge once on debit box and provided 0 evidence. So any judge that the SEC is going to be appealing, and any judge that's going to be seeing these documentations of the SEC appealing, the SEC has to think twice as hard because they can't lie. They lied once against debit box on the evidence they might have had, and they didn't have anything. So I'm hoping that this is giving you a perspective that this case is over. And if anybody's tweeting out, I have a friend in the SEC that's telling me they're going to apply, that they're going to appeal, because I'm seeing so many tweets. People tweeting, I have an acquaintance in the SEC who told me the SEC. No, nobody has an acquaintance in the SEC from the crypto influencer space. Nobody has a friend in the SEC from the crypto influencer space. These are all clickbait tweets. Everybody's just trying to milk this inside the crypto space regarding the appeal. Stop milking it. Not you, Bill, the people that are tweeting about it. But pretty much everything I said happened like a domino effect. Is quantum computing a threat for crypto and wallets? Thanks. It's a genuine question. Is quantum computing a threat to cryptocurrencies and people's wallets? Yes, up to a certain extent. It is. Quantum computing can be a massive negative for the crypto space, but it could also be a massive positive for the crypto space. It depends on who uses it. So, if you have a major institution, like, a major government or a major institution that's funded by other institutions, so they will use it for positive outcomes. They will use it to advance blockchain technology, which they can do. They can use quantum computing to advance AI technology. They can do it to advance blockchain technology. However, if quantum computing falls in the wrong hands, then yes, it can affect certain people's wallets if they wanted to, or blockchains if they wanted to. But it depends on who's in control of the quantum computing. If it's going to be major institutions, they're not going to be hacking people's wallets, and they're not going to be using it to damage blockchains. But if it's a hacker or something and builds his own quantum computing, sure. The same way a computer can be used for doing productive work, or it could be used to hack somebody else's computer. So it just depends on the user when it comes to computer. When it comes to quantum computing, it depends on the user. If the user wants to do it productively, or they want to go the other way. It's like any other device. It just all depends on the user. Ripple spends more money on lawyers than the fine. Ground Rising, CMF, let's go, Ray. How you doing? Hi, Miles. Do you see Department of Government Efficiency being anything? Doge/Elon. Fraser, how you doing? Yes, I saw Elon Musk essentially saying that he would take a job with Donald Trump, and it's amazing because Elon Musk is incredibly intelligent. He could bring a lot of positive for the United States, and so on that, if Donald Trump wins, let's say, and Elon Musk becomes essentially the Department of Government Efficiency, would that have any positive impacts on Doge? Indirect positive impacts on Doge, sure, but not direct. I don't believe Elon Musk is going to become, essentially, if he does become, not saying I won't believe he won't become, but let me clarify. So if Elon Musk becomes the government's efficiency, any Department of Government Efficiency, and he becomes in charge of that, he becomes the chairman of that, is he going to be, shouting out Dogecoin to the rest of the world? No. But is it going to have an indirect impact on Dogecoin? Sure. People who buy Dogecoin, they follow Elon Musk's movements. They see Elon Musk being in chairman of that department as a positive, which means Dogecoin will start rallying up. So it would have an indirect impact on Dogecoin, but not a direct impact on Dogecoin. SEC reputation is not good right now in the courts. Case reputation is very important. Facts. And having a reputation right now for the SEC. The SEC's reputation is horrendous right now. Nobody essentially in the House of Commons essentially respects the SEC in any sort of a way. They've had 3 meetings with the SEC so far in the past few days, and all of them was just a battering for the SEC and Gary Gensler. They had former SEC members and current SEC members testify against Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC. So it's all being massively negative for the SEC so far. And any movements they do, it impacts them and it backfires on the SEC. They're going to be using against Gary Gensler next Congress meeting. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Manny, good to see you. How you doing? So, Orphan, yes, facts. We're going to reputation bot. If they not appeal, what will this mean for the XRP in Q4 this year and the price? Well, the price will depend again on the second green light, which is regulations, which we're getting there. I'll be honest, we're getting there. We have more regulations than ever before. So the price will matter on regulations. The faster we have regulations, the faster we have adoptions, the faster you'll see price reaction. on that matter. If the SEC, if the SEC does appeal, how long will it take before it gets rejected? That would depend on the judicial system of the United States. My phone is too slow, but hello to everyone. SEC need new evidence to appeal. Facts, they do. They can't use previous evidence because it wouldn't work. That would be an instant rejection. Good explanation, brother, about appealing. No problem below anytime. Should have added to win, so it's over. Yeah. Morning, Miles, the CMF. Shelly, good to see you. How you doing? Morning. Okay, so BitThumb. Some of you might be wondering what the hell is BitThumb. Well, BitThumb is the biggest crypto exchange in South Korea. Massive. And some people might also be using BitThumb right now in different jurisdictions around the world. But what I'm talking about right now is BitThumb getting an IPO. It's about to go public. So if you're inside the crypto space, but you're also someone that dabbles with the stock market and you want to be involved in crypto projects that are also on the stock market, this could be for you, because BitThumb has just announced plans to explore US NASDAQ listings. BitThumb, a South Korean-based cryptocurrency exchange, has officially announced its intentions to consider a listing on the US NASDAQ in 2025. This ambitious declaration emerged during a pivotal shareholders meeting earlier today. This potential move marks a shift in BitThumb's strategy and highlights the challenges cryptocurrency platforms face in South Korea. BitThumb's listing, a shift in strategic focus. BitThumb's shift in focus to US listing is particularly noteworthy given its previous attempts to list on the Korean stock exchange back in 2020. Interestingly, Samsung Securities was designated as the underwriters for them, and this exchange had to put these plans on hold. This was due to uncertainty surrounding regulatory pressures and accounting standards for virtual assets in South Korea. However, BitThumb's move to NASDAQ reflects a desire to embrace a more favorable regulatory environment. The NASDAQ listing could potentially allow the exchange to tap into a vast pool of international investors. Furthermore, the exchange plans to list on NASDAQ comes for when the firm aims to launch an initial public offering in the second half of 2025. During the meeting, the stakeholders mentioned that the exchange is exploring all options for its IPO. This flexibility reflects the commitment to adapting to an ever-changing crypto environment and market dynamics. Experts suggest that the regulatory environment in South Korea may be a significant factor influencing BitThumb's decision to explore a NASDAQ listing. The South Korean government has been cautious in its approach to cryptocurrency regulations, failing to recognize cryptocurrencies as a legitimate financial product. Earlier this year, the country imposed a travel rule regulation on crypto firms operating in the region. This stance has impeded into the launch and trading products, making it challenging for local exchanges like BitThumb to operate in its robust market space. The country's regulatory agency, the Personal Information Protection Commission, cracked down on the WorldCoin project recently as well, a digital current or project. The project had no choice but to consent to the agency's demands. BitThumb thrives amidst regulations. Despite these regulatory hurdles, BitThumb remains a key player in South Korean crypto market space. Currently, it processes over $574 million in trade volume within 24 hours. Solidifying its position as the second largest crypto trading platform in the country. By comparison, its local competitors, Upbit, leads the market with an impressive $1.95 billion trading volume during the same time frame. This competitive landscape underscores the growth potential that BitThumb could tap into if successfully navigates its IPO success. Massive. So if you are somebody that's into Coinbase's stock, you're into Coinbase's stock or some other blockchain stocks that are on the NASDAQ, well, BitThumb is about to get an IPO. If you want to get involved in their IPO, then go check out BitThumb Exchange. They're the second largest crypto exchange in South Korea. They're regulated by the South Korean authorities as well. They have all the licensings and all the money transfer licenses they need to operate within a legal framework. So go check them out. Now, what we're going to talk about next is the Paris Stock Exchange. So France has been going through some turbulence, which they're not admitting to, which is interesting. So France is trying to make it seem that their country's economy is doing strong and there's nothing wrong with France. But on the other side, France's real estate space is heading downwards. There are more real estate exchanges, essentially real estate agencies closing than ever before. And now the Paris Stock Exchange is declining, and it could worsen this week. So if they're having a massive issue in France, and the stock exchange is having a massive issue in France, and essentially France's economy is about to be shifting downwards, then this could make people run towards other assets to hedge against traditional assets, for example, gold, silver, or cryptocurrencies. Paris Stock Exchange started the week down sharply, marking a pause after gains recorded this previous week. The main index, the CAC 40, fell by 1.04% on Monday morning, settling at 7,710 points, essentially. This caution is due to the anticipation of numerous crucial economic publications scheduled for this week. There's a lot of things happening around the world, not just in France, but France is about to go into detail of why their stock exchange is not doing too well. So a devious week for the Paris Stock Exchange. Last week, the stock markets were supported by announcements from Chinese authorities aimed at essentially slamming the economy, losing momentum. However, the enthusiasm generated by these measures did not extend beyond Chinese borders. European investors remain cautious, anticipating important economic data that could influence their market space. And what is the data that the EU or France or Paris Stock Exchange waiting for to see if their economy is going to do better moving forward? The US's data reports. Indeed, several major economic publications are expected this week. Notably, reports on employment inside the United States and Europe is going to be coming out this week, essentially. The US monthly employment report scheduled for this Friday, is particularly scrutinized by the stock market investors. This report could provide indications on the health of the American economy and influence the Fed's decisions regarding interest rates, which impacts the rest of the world. In Europe, data on inflation in Germany and Italy will be released essentially as well, followed by employment figures for the European zone on this Wednesday. This data is crucial for assessing the economy situation of the region and could have a significant impact on financial markets. Furthermore, the European automotive sector is also under pressure as well. Franco-Italian-American manufacturer revised its financial forecast for the current year downward trend. This announcement led to a 13.49% drop in their shares, affecting the entire sector for automotive. Outlook and uncertainties. Besides the economic data, investors will closely follow the political speech of French Prime Minister, scheduled for Tuesday. This speech could provide clues in the French government's budgetary orientations and influence their stock markets. In summary, the Paris Stock Exchange is evolving into a context of caution and uncertainty, marked by anticipation of crucial economic publications. Investors remain attentive in the global economic developments and political decisions that could influence markets in the coming days. So massive on that basis, absolutely massive. I mean, look, if France is about to go through some turbulence, the Paris Stock Exchange is about to go through some turbulence, people are going to be running towards assets to hedge against scenarios of the Paris Stock Exchange going, which is either going to be risk-off assets, which is gold and silver, or cryptocurrencies. So Paris' traditional market space goes downwards, could have a positive impact on cryptocurrencies going upwards, depending on how much inflow comes in. Now, what we're going to talk about next is regarding Ohio. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see where we were at. YouTube, Miles, Yo Miles, how you doing? Knox, how you been? Mike, good day. Miles on CMF, good to see you as well. Mike, how you doing? Will there be an altcoin season in 2024, 2025? And will Bitcoin price drop during the altcoin season? Okay, it's an interesting question. So will Bitcoin's price drop during a alt season? What we have to consider, because in the past, Bitcoin will drop in price value because Bitcoin's money will be fed into the altcoins and the altcoins will climb higher. Okay, there's one major thing you need to consider that nobody's considering inside the crypto space, because everybody still looks at the charts as if they're going to be happening on a 4-year cycle as they did previously. What you need to consider this time around, which a lot of people haven't considered, is institutions. There is institutional money inside the crypto space. Majority of it on paper is in Bitcoin due to Bitcoin ETFs or MicroStrategy, who just buys Bitcoin in general. So if you have people like MicroStrategy buying, $500 million of Bitcoin every 2 months, or $600 million, or $1 billion, which was his recent purchase, around 1.1 billion. Most of it went towards Bitcoin purchases. He's raising another $1 billion to go towards Bitcoin as well this year. So if you have people like Michael Saylor who are just buying Bitcoin, just scooping it up, and people like Metaplanet who follow MicroStrategy's blueprint and just keep on scooping up Bitcoin in the Japanese stock exchange. Or you have 2 companies based out of Canada who are just scooping up Bitcoin as well. Or you have pension funds coming in from Wisconsin spending $170 million on Bitcoin. Or South Korea's pension fund investing into Bitcoin as well. Or the amount of institutions like BlackRock climbing the ladder, becoming the #1 Bitcoin holder and so on. So what I'm trying to say is these institutions are not going to be selling off their Bitcoin ETF assets to feed into the altcoins. Now, the retail section, they could follow the same pattern and sell off their Bitcoins to feed into the altcoins, but these institutions are not going to be doing that. MicroStrategy, for example, Michael Saylor, he's Bitcoin for the rest of his life, no matter what. So he won't be selling off his billions of assets on Bitcoin to feed into the altcoins, or millions even to feed into the altcoins. Neither is Metaplanet, neither is Wisconsin's pension fund, neither is the South Korean pension fund, or any of the pension funds that's investing in Bitcoin right now, or any of the major institutions like BlackRock or Vanguard, or BlackRock or Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan and so on. They're not going to be selling off their Bitcoin assets or their clients' assets to be feeding into altcoins. So typically, the retail section would sell off their Bitcoin assets at Bitcoin's height and then feed into the altcoins, which kickstarts a rally for the altcoin season. But this time around, we have a lot of institutions in play, and neither one of those institutions is going to be selling off their Bitcoin assets to feed into the altcoins. So does that mean that no money is going to be entering into altcoins? No, money is going to be entering into altcoins, but based on their utility. Number one thing nobody's considering inside the crypto space: we're not in the same market space at all. And every time we go throughout the years, everybody says we're not inside the same market space. I've only said it for this year. We're not inside the market space. I actually said it in 2023, and I said 2024, what's going to happen? I said we're not going to be in the same market space in 2024. Because before we didn't have regulations, before we didn't have ETFs, before we didn't have essentially institutions, before we didn't have banks. There's a lot of things that we have now inside the crypto market space that we didn't have before, which means we are in another market space. And not one of those institutions, all those pension funds, are going to be sending off their Bitcoin assets to feed into altcoins. Some might decide to do that, Wall Street heads, they might decide to sell off some of their Bitcoin ETFs to go against essentially into altcoins. But institutions buy for 5-year projections. Pension funds are not going to be selling off to feed into altcoins. Okay, retail section, they could do that. Institutional section, essentially the corporate sector, they're not doing that. So what's going to be feeding into altcoins is either retail money, some institutional money, but the institutional money is going to go into altcoin. It's going to go into utility, essentially. The money that's going to be coming into altcoins is going to be going into utility. So institutions will be feeding altcoins that have utility purposes. Retail section will be feeding altcoins that have utility purposes and some random coins and some meme coins and so on. So retail section's money will be scattered into altcoins. Institutional money will be entering, new money will be entering into altcoins, but for utility purposes only. So it's new money that's going to be doing that. Again, some Wall Street heads could sell up their Bitcoin ETFs, but the pension funds are not selling their Bitcoins. MicroStrategy is not selling off their Bitcoins. Metaplanet is not selling off their Bitcoins. BlackRock is not going to be lowering their Bitcoin ETF assets to lose their #1 position to feed into altcoins. They couldn't care less if the retail section makes money on altcoins or not. They couldn't care less if we have an altcoin season in general, BlackRock. So the money that's going to be entering the altcoins is going to be new institutional money and some of the Bitcoin money, but they're going to be going towards utility projects. And retail money will just be scattered all over the place. Some in altcoins that have utility purposes, some in meme coins, some on this coin, some on that coin, and so on. Now, let's see what the other questions are. By the way, this is a live show, so if you do have any questions, put it down to the comment section. Don't be shy. Even if you are new inside the crypto space, you got a question, go for it. Let's see where we're at. So, next question is, hi Miles, Harry, how you doing? And CMF, can you give me a mandate XRP price prediction for the end of the year, 2024, 2025, 2026? No, what I'm going to say instead to you is consider variable change. So does that mean that the altcoin run won't be as good? No, it will be good, but it will be for what Ian said right under you, Shelly. So that's why we need to have altcoins with purpose and utility facts. Shelly, alt season is going to be there, but it's just going to be money feeding into utility tokens and retail money scattered all over the place. The retail section will probably sell off some of their Bitcoins to feed into altcoins, but institutions are not doing that. And we have a lot of institutional money, but the new institutional money entering the fields slowly, day by day, is going to be going towards utility projects. So this is why it's so important this time around to be into utility tokens. Everybody, the majority inside the crypto space have forgotten the main purpose of crypto, which was utility since day one. Somewhere down the line, the retail section forgot about utility and started chasing price points. Somewhere down the line, the retail section completely forgot about utility and started just chasing price points and profits, which I understand. Everybody likes to make money. But come back to the core roots of blockchain, utility, because the clientele entering the crypto space now and moving forward is institutions. And they're coming in for utility, not for random projects. So position yourself correctly, and the money will come. Position yourself against the institutions, and you'll never see a single penny. That's why you need to have altcoins with purpose and utility. Yeah, updated. Let's go, Harry. The wheat will be separated. The weak will be separated from the chief, Miles. Facts. Now, Ohio. So Switzerland was the first country to do this, but it was one particular city, essentially in Switzerland, which was Laguna. Laguna decided to essentially make the citizens of Laguna in Switzerland be able to pay with cryptocurrencies for the taxes. This is about to be happening inside the United States. Ohio senator pushes a bill to enable crypto tax payments. Ohio could soon legally accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for taxes if a new bill by Senator Nurich is essentially enacted into law. Today, Ohio state senator, introduced a bill seeking to allow taxpayers of the state of Ohio to pay their taxes in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. The proposed legislation would mandate state and local governments to accept crypto payments as a method for taxes, not for crypto taxes, but for taxes in general. Cryptocurrencies is not just the future, he said, but it's the present of our 21st century economy. If we want to encourage innovation and free enterprise in Ohio, we should do everything we can to normalize the use of cryptocurrencies. The beginning of his sentencing was perfect. Cryptocurrency is not just the future, but it's the present of our 21st century economy. So it's not just about the future of cryptocurrencies. We are in cryptocurrencies right now, is what he's trying to say. Facts. This is not the first time Ohio has considered Bitcoin as a legal tax payment option. Ohio has become the first US state to accept crypto taxes. It came essentially crypto taxes back in 2018, with then the Senate Treasury, essentially Josh, spearheading the initiative. However, the state suspended the Bitcoin tax payment service a year later, back in 2018. In 2019, the state dropped the crypto as a mandate form of paying taxes after essentially advice from state attorneys generals that decision to accept BTC and crypto for taxes needed approval from the state board of deposits. The bill on state pension funds. So I-20 has plans to have the legislative intact this bill into law, making it official legal for anyone to pay their state taxes and other fees using cryptocurrencies. In addition to mandating the state to accept taxes in crypto, the new bill will make it legal for pensions, funds, and state universities to invest in crypto, which is massive. If more pension funds come into cryptocurrencies, more universities start backing their essential university with cryptocurrencies. It's massive. They have huge budgets. Okay, and the education system has billion-dollar budgets. Massive. The Attorney Bill will be considered by the General Assembly of State of Ohio. Cryptocurrency has increasingly become a key issue in the US, with the topic commanding significant attention and aimed upcoming elections. The approach by the US Securities and Exchange Commission, which has emphasized regulations by enforcement, has attracted criticism across many Congress members, or in general, Congress. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler recently did come under fire as well in his recent congressional hearing on the SEC oversight, which he did, which we already went through. But Ohio is about to open the floodgates of cryptocurrency for you to be able to pay your taxes in them and your university payments and so on, and that universities can also invest into cryptocurrencies, and so can pension funds. The world is definitely moving forward. The world is definitely moving forward. So, you know, it comes back to that scenario with Ripple versus SEC. If it was one big show, scenario number 2, well, we're already in progress and the show has ended for that case. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Donald Trump. Now, everybody remembers when I talked about Donald Trump's crypto project, which was World Liberty Financial, the Kickstarter project from his son and his business partners. Well, it seems to be that the World Liberty Financial is about to be opening its doors because they've started KYC verifications, which is Know Your Customer verifications. World Liberty Financial, a new crypto project backed by the Trump family, has officially launched its Know Your Customers KYC verification process on its website. The launch comes after a series of site maintenance updates earlier today, hinting this ambitious venture's anticipation, opening doors with KYC verification. During the pre-launch of Decentralized Finance DeFi project, it was said to serve solely as a governance token. It was also said to be a non-transferable digital asset available for sale only to accredited investors inside the United States. Nevertheless, accredited investors would still need to undergo verification to participate. The WLFI homepage emphasizes that additional information will be available to individuals who complete the KYC process. The statement underlines the firm's commitment to regulatory compliance. This indicates that in the US, only accredited investors will have access to further details. Despite its high-profile backing, details about World Liberty Financial remains scarce. KYC is a critical process in the financial sector that aims to prevent illegal activities, including money laundering and fraud. It typically requires individuals to submit personal identification documents such as passports or driver licenses and a proof of address. The World Liberty Financial KYC initiative reflects a broader trend with the crypto space and industry, where transparency and regulatory compliance are becoming a paramount. The crypto community watches closely as the WF team prepares for its official rollout. The backing of Trump's family, including Donald Trump Jr., adds a layer of intrigueness to this idea. Regardless, the project's success will ultimately depend on its ability to navigate the complex regulatory landscapes and ultimately deliver a value to its investors. Donald Trump gains, essentially regarding this as well, Donald Trump, the Republican presidential nominee, is gaining significant traction in the political and crypto world due to his strong pro-crypto stance. As the race for the White House heats up, Trump supporters for the digital asset industry is capturing the attention of the cryptocurrency advocates. Many are viewing him as a key ally who could propel the sector and the United States economy to a new height with crypto innovation. Trump has showcased his support for cryptocurrency industries through a series of actions. His ventures into the world of NFTs, featuring digital collectibles that sold quickly. In addition, he was actively engaged in crypto-related functions and accepts crypto donations for his electoral campaign activities. So, regarding the project that Donald Trump, essentially, you could say Donald Trump has, but it's mostly his son that has. They've just opened their doors for KYC, which I think is brilliant. Okay, previously I said I will be treating this crypto project as any other crypto project. What is it trying to build? Is it who is it partnered with? Is it going to be here in 5 years' time? Is what matters to me. I'm going to be still treating it like that. But what I like is they've introduced KYC, because if they didn't do KYC straightforward right at the beginning, then the news would would have went against Donald Trump, and they would have said he's trying to manipulate his voters to squeeze money out of them, or so on and so on. If they're doing KYC, it seems like a legitimate process, seems like a legitimate, essentially, platform, let's say. So it's good that they're doing KYC right at the door before anything starts off with this project. Good news. But other than that, I'm still going to be treating it like any other crypto project, which is, what is it trying to build? Who is it working with? And is it going to be in 5 years' time? Now, moving on from Donald Trump Jr.'s project, crypto project, and previously I said it's a bit too soon for him to launch a project. I said wait for his father to become president and then launch a crypto project. But if they're doing KYC right at the beginning, it's good. But hoping nothing happens to the project, because if it gets scammed, if people get scammed on that project because of hackers or manipulation or corruption, anything that happens on that crypto project is going to impact Donald Trump's presidency, which is not good. He's the only man fighting for cryptocurrencies. If you're pro cryptocurrencies, he's the only man who's right now trying to bring innovation when it comes to blockchain technology inside the United States. No matter how you look at it, if you stick your emotions out of your votings and you're just looking at it from a purpose of, you're looking for a perspective of economy, crypto innovation, in terms of more jobs and so on, and you keep your emotions out of it, then he's the better choice if you're pro crypto, especially. So, this crypto project, hoping that it doesn't get compromised or hacked, or the Telegram group doesn't get infiltrated by scammers and people don't lose money, because if any of those scenarios happen, the news will be all over it. And they'll be calling Trump a scammer, they'll be calling his son a scammer and so on, which is not good for his presidency campaign. So I said it's too soon for Trump's son to be releasing a crypto project. I'd rather wait for his father to become president, then release a crypto project, because a lot of things can go south for the crypto project. A lot of things, especially when it's starting off. But good that they're doing KYC right at the beginning. Now, what we're going to talk about next is MicroStrategy, specifically on their next Bitcoin purchase, because again, MicroStrategy is raising money, more money, to buy more Bitcoin. Now, before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. By the way, this is a live show, which means if you have any questions, do not be shy. Put it down inside the comment section. Let's see what we got inside the comment section. Update it. Let's go. In your opinion, do you think we hit the bottom and things will slowly go up from now? Yes, but consider manipulation, corruption, war, geopolitical tensions. You've got to consider everything. And right now, there's a lot of things happening. Saudi Arabia announces a $60 million humanitarian aid package for Palestine. Good, is what Hot Channel said. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Ghost Runner, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Miles, I'm surprised Gary has not sued Trump over his coin. Well, one thing you should know about Gary Gensler, I'll tell you now. So, Gary Gensler actually got his job the first time around. Trump was the man that gave Gary Gensler his job the first time around. And then Joe Biden was the man that kept Gary Gensler's job the second time around. However, Trump did come out and say if he does become president, he's firing Gary Gensler within 24 hours, which I could definitely see that happening. Trump is a man that, if he sees anybody slacking off in their position, he's getting rid of them, no questions asked, which you should do if you're running a country. There's no, if you're working for a company and you make a mistake, you could lose, depending on what company it is, a few $1,000s or a few $1 million, which is a big issue. But if you're running a country, there's no, oops, I made a mistake, let me try again. If that oops could, affect millions of citizens of people. So if you're running a country, I would also believe in the strategy of there's no second strike. It's first strike and you're out. If I'm running a country, I can't have people who go, oops, I made a mistake, second time around. No, because your second time around has already just affected millions of lives. So I like his strategy of, if you're not doing your job correctly, you're out the door. First strike and you're out, because your decisions will impact millions of lives if you're working for the government, depending on what level of government you're working at. So I like his strategy of, you make a mistake, you're out the door. There's no second time around. I don't think he's going to be looking into. But it is a little bit slippery. Yeah. Miles, do you think if the goldfish wins, there would be an issue with the world liberty overall or not? Yes, definitely. I'm back. Can everybody see me? You're back? Yep, I'm back. Let's go. So, MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy's next Bitcoin purchase is likely to take its holdings above Grayscale's GBTC. And this just, previously we were talking about essentially regarding market trends and regarding the outcomes of what the marketplace is going to be. And I said, when you have companies like MicroStrategy keep on buying Bitcoin, and they're not going to be selling it for altcoins. So on this perspective, MicroStrategy could soon have a bigger Bitcoin pocket than Grayscale. The company held a total of 252,220 Bitcoins, or 1.2% of the total supply, which is capped at 21 million tokens. Per its latest regulatory filings on September 20th, Grayscale, which held upwards of 620,000 in its Bitcoin Trust GBTC prior to its launch of its US spot ETFs back in January, currently holds just over 254,000 in tokens split between GBTC and its newer lower fee Bitcoin mini trust. So recent capital that's been raised by MicroStrategy have left MicroStrategy with more than $1 billion, which the company has yet to put to work, or at least has yet to not announce the moment. Presumably, these funds will be used for more Bitcoin, which would add thousands of more coins to its balance sheet and bring its holdings far above Grayscale. MicroStrategy has been able to raise another $1 billion. Now, what MicroStrategy tends to do, or what Michael Saylor tends to do, is whenever they raise money in MicroStrategy, it could be around $900 million, $1 billion, $1.2 billion, or so on. Majority of that money raised typically goes towards Bitcoin. This man is Bitcoin over heels. This would also make MicroStrategy the 5th largest holder if they do purchase more, which most likely they will. The largest holder of cryptocurrencies, trailing only BlackRock, Binance, Satoshi Nakamoto, and Coinbase. An important distinction, of course, is that BlackRock, Binance, and Coinbase hold Bitcoins for clients, not for their own account, which puts MicroStrategy a step above all of them. Yes, BlackRock has more Bitcoins. Yes, Coinbase has more Bitcoins. Yes, Binance holds more Bitcoins. But Binance is holding their clients' Bitcoins. BlackRock is holding their clients' Bitcoins. And Coinbase is also holding their clients' Bitcoins. MicroStrategy is holding their own Bitcoins, which puts them a step ahead of everybody else. Under their leadership of their CEO and now executive chairman, Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy started purchasing Bitcoin with cash from its balance sheet starting August 2020. Since then, it has aggressively used the capital markets to raise billions, or in which it essentially continuously will add to its holdings. The company's average purchase in price is just over $39,000 versus Bitcoin's current price of around $64,000. The stack today is worth $16 billion. MicroStrategy is holding roughly about $16 billion in Bitcoin. As for Grayscale, which pioneered public access to Bitcoin via funds, it chose to keep the fee for its GBTC at a relatively high 1.5%, more than the 100 basis points above all competitors following the conversion to a spot ETF. The result has been fast bled in its assets, but we all know why Grayscale had, if you don't know, a very simple way to put it is, at the beginning of Bitcoin ETFs, Grayscale was the one that made Bitcoin ETFs go sliding downwards, made the price of Bitcoin go sliding downwards right at the beginning rather than upwards, because they locked everybody's Bitcoins 6 months prior to it. And then the locks came off and they charged the highest price for their fee conversions, which made people sell the GBTC that was being transferred to Bitcoin ETFs through Grayscale instead of keeping on them, which eventually, essentially followed into BlackRock, and it's just one big circle because they're all shares in each other's things, which is something I've explained in a lot more detail on previous live shows, especially a long time ago. Now, what we're going to talk about next is moving on from MicroStrategy. But what MicroStrategy is doing, they've just raised another $1 billion. Knowing Saylor, knowing MicroStrategy, they're about to be getting ready and geared up to buy their next collection of Bitcoins. And if you're thinking the price is too high for MicroStrategy to buy Bitcoin, MicroStrategy's last purchase of Bitcoin was around $60,000. Nothing is too high for this man. Nothing. They started buying Bitcoin around $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. MicroStrategy said he doesn't care about the price of Bitcoin pretty much because he believes that Bitcoin is going to be $1 million asset, which means the price he's seeing at right now is cheap for Michael Saylor. It's expensive for a lot of people. A lot of people look at Bitcoin and go, ooh, 60,000 plus dollars. That's a lot for one Bitcoin. MicroStrategy is seeing it as pennies compared to what it's going to become. So when you have people like him buying Bitcoin at those prices in, hundreds of millions of dollars or $1 billion, how do you expect an asset to drop to $20,000, which a lot of people were expecting a long time ago? Now, and obviously he's not the only one doing this movement. What we're going to talk about next, moving on from MicroStrategy to ex-finance minister Zhu Gaijun. The reason why I pronounce his name like this is because he is a ex-finance minister of China. He's an ex-finance minister of China, and he's getting involved. He's getting involved, having conversations with Chinese authorities, the Chinese government, to get back into cryptocurrencies. Before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section because I've just seen Ian just made a £20 donation. Let's go CMF. Ian, thank you so much for the £20 donation, going straight towards setting up the CMF hedge fund. Absolutely amazing. Thanks so much for the £20 donation. One legend. Stormy, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hi, Miles of CMF. Good to see you as well, Stormy. How you been? How's things? Let's go, Ian. You're the man, Ian. Let's go. Very generous brother, Ian G. Let's go. Definitely. Thank you for the donation, Ian. Straight to CMF hedge fund for starting it up. Now, ex-finance minister of China. So before 2021, China was termed to be one of the most preferred locations for cryptocurrencies, for cryptocurrency miners, for everything when it came to blockchain. But in 2021, the nation imposed an entire ban on crypto-related activities and so on. And even after restrictions, around 18 million Chinese hold digital assets as of Q1 2024. In the past few quarters, China has revealed several scams and frauds related to cryptocurrencies. The current government and its authorities are claimed to be, against crypto assets, but some government members are for crypto assets now in China. In a recent speech during an economic forum at the Tengshan University, Zhu, the former finance minister of China, said that the nation should pay more attention to cryptocurrencies. This is a speech he made in a Chinese university a few days ago. He further notes, as reported by Sina News, that this was his speech. It does have negative effects when we must fully recognize its risk and harm to the capital markets. But we must study the latest international changes and policy adjustments because it is a crucial aspect to the development of a digital economy in China. The speech by the finance minister sparked discussions in China's finance markets. However, people are aware that the minister's speech might fuel demand for crypto in the region. Making cryptocurrencies a part of a political decision has driven the surge in popularity of digital assets globally. The number of crypto users worldwide is expected to exceed 800 million people by the end of 2025. As of writing, cryptocurrency market capitalization was around $2.26 trillion with an intraday decline of 1.76% at the same time. The fear index greed powered by CoinMarketCap was around 56, determining neutrality in the market sentiments. And publishing, essentially, Bitcoin lost around 2.26% of its trading price, reaching below the mark of 64,000 until publishing. Now, putting the numbers aside of what we already do know, which is the BTC spot ETF markets mirror the major inflow of around $402 million in the past 24 hours. The inflow list led by RKB, followed by FBTC, Bitcoin is essentially IBIT, and GBTC for Grayscale. But putting all those things to one side, China might be considering entering the crypto space once again. If China enters the crypto space and opens its doors and says, welcome in to cryptocurrencies, the markets will be thriving inside the crypto space, because America is a humongous space for cryptocurrencies. But obviously, you have one man, Gary Gensler, trying to stop everything happening. But it's not going well for Gary Gensler. A lot of congressmen have decided to, go against Gary Gensler's movements and what he says, and congressmen have decided to pass their own bills. But America is one big space, and they're still pro-crypto, even though Gary Gensler isn't. But America itself, congressmen are pro-crypto. And you have one former president who's also very pro-crypto as well coming in the scenes. And all institutions are pro-crypto because ETFs started out of America. So America is a huge space for cryptocurrencies. EU is a huge space for cryptocurrencies. The Middle East is a huge space for cryptocurrencies, so is Asia. But China is, obviously in Asia, but China is a huge market space for cryptocurrencies. Just with a ban on cryptocurrencies, recently I reviewed a data point from China. Around $90 billion have been invested into cryptocurrencies from China in the past few months. In the past few months, $90 billion has been thrown into the crypto markets from Chinese investors. And this is China with a ban. Imagine China without a ban. In a few months, $90 billion. So imagine China without a ban. If China reopens their doors, crypto market will be thriving. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Japan. Because Japan is set to review crypto regulations as well. Japan is thinking about opening their doors fully to crypto policies, to crypto taxing, to crypto everything. Japan set to review crypto regulations, potentially tax cuts and fund investment opportunities to get things going in Japan. In a significant move that could reshape the landscape of cryptocurrencies in Japan, the country's Financial Services Agency, so their version of an SEC, is set to review its existing cryptocurrency regulations, potentially lowering tax rates on digital assets and allowing funds to invest into tokens, according to a recent report from Bloomberg. These essentially regulatory reforms could further enhance the growth of Japan's crypto market, which has already seen a sharp rise in trading volumes over the past year. The review by the FSA will assess whether the current regulations under the Payment Service Act offer a sufficient investor protection while promoting a healthy market space for Japan. Among the potential changes, the agency is considering essentially reclassifying cryptocurrencies as financial instruments in Japan, thereby introducing a more robust oversight and bringing asset classes into the framework traditionally used for stocks and other asset vehicles, which is massive. Japan is about to be putting crypto assets in the same category as you could say stocks, or same category as other investment vehicles. But lowering taxes for crypto, a potential game changer in Japan. One of the most anticipated aspects of this regulatory review is the potential reduction in crypto tax rates, which could significantly boost the attractiveness of Japan's potential market space. Currently, Japan taxes cryptocurrency profits at a rate that is very high, which is around 55%, which has been essentially deteriorated for many traders and investors to conduct any sort of business deals using essentially cryptocurrencies. 55% is a lot for traders to be paying taxes. However, under the proposed changes, this tax rate cut could be lowered to 20% from 55%. It's a good start, bringing it in line with capital gains tax on stocks and other financial instruments. Yoga, a market analyst at Bitbank Exchange, stated that reducing tax rates would likely spur a greater participation in the cryptocurrency market space in Japan, particularly from institutional investors who have been hesitant to dive into crypto due to the high tax burden. For retail traders, the prospects of lower taxes on their crypto profits could essentially lead to more active trading and higher investment volumes, a more vibrant market space in Japan. It could also encourage more individuals to enter the market, fostering further growth in Japan's already recovering cryptocurrency sector, opening the door for funds to invest into tokens. Another key consideration is the FSA's review and the possibility of allowing investment funds to directly invest into cryptocurrency tokens. Currently, Japan prohibits token exclusives regarding ETFs, exchange-traded funds, which has limited the way in which both institutionals and retail investors can gain exposure to cryptocurrencies through traditional financial products. However, the potential lifting of this ban regarding ETFs would pave the way for cryptocurrency ETFs and other fund-based investment vehicles that could attract a new wave of institutional capital in Japan's market space for cryptocurrencies. By allowing funds to invest into tokens, Japan could align itself with other financial hubs like the US, where crypto ETFs are increasingly being considered and approved by regulators. This shift could result in an influx of capital into the Japanese cryptocurrency market space, further cementing the country's position as a key player in the global crypto space. Japan's market is already showing signs of recovery, with trading volumes nearing $10 billion a year, a sharp increase from their $6.2 billion back in 2023. This growth essentially reflects a rising interest in cryptocurrencies, despite the existing regulatory challenges and tax burdens. With a 55% tax burden, they're already bringing in $10 billion a year. And the year hasn't even ended. Last year, they brought in about $6.2 billion with a 55% tax rate. This year, they're bringing in about $10 billion with still a 55% tax rate, which is about to be lowered to 20%. Because lowered to 20%, imagine what will come through next. The potential regulatory overhaul could further fuel this growth by making Japan's crypto market more attractive to both domestic and international investors. By streamlining tax policies and allowing investment funds to enter the market, the government could create a more competitive and robust cryptocurrency ecosystem. In addition to tax cuts and investment funds inclusion, the FSA is also reviewing classification of cryptocurrencies under Japan's legal framework. Currently, cryptocurrencies are regulated under the Payment Service Act, but the FSA may reclassify them as financial instruments under the Financial Instruments and Exchange Act. This potential reclassification would bring crypto assets under a more comprehensive regulatory framework, providing investors with greater protection while ensuring that cryptocurrencies are treated to stocks, similarly to stocks, bonds, and other financial securities. By doing so, the Japanese government could boost confidence among institutional investors and high net worth individuals, encouraging them to take part in cryptocurrency market spaces. Massive. Japan is about to be reopening their doors on a whole nother scale. 55% tax rate is about to go down to 20% tax rate, which is going to bring a lot more money into the markets from Japan's space for cryptocurrencies. And on top of that, cryptocurrency is about to be getting a new classification, new regulations, new policies. They're bringing everything. And on top of that, they're going to be start investing into crypto projects in Japan as well. So they're going to be government funds for crypto innovation in Japan. So government fund for crypto innovation in Japan, reclassification of cryptocurrency categories, and lowering the taxes from 55% to 20%. It might not seem like a lot to a lot of people, so 20% is still too high, but it was at 55%, and they still brought it around $10 billion this year. So 20% will bring a lot more from the Japanese market space. Now, on Japan opening their doors and China thinking about opening their doors, Taiwan is also going to be opening their doors to cryptocurrencies. A lot of countries tonight are going to be opening their doors to cryptocurrencies. But before we go through the Taiwan news, let's go inside the comment section. Once again, this is a live show, which means if you do have any questions, don't be shy. Even if you are new inside the crypto space, put it down inside the comment section. I'm reading everyone's questions one by one, giving short, sweet, simple answers to get over all the questions from everyone. The boss is back. Let's go. Very generous one. Yes, facts. You sound like this. The boss is back. JP, let's go. Hi, Miles. Paul, good to see you. How you doing? When would you expect XRP to hit £50 realistically? Regulations and adoption is one. It needs 2 green lights before you can see any of those price points. Can you explain how we borrow? Can you explain how we borrow against XRP and how do we exit the loan? Or do we die with a huge debt against our XRP assets? No. Okay. Typically, when you borrow against your assets and you use your assets as collateral. So in this case, your question is based on XRP. So you want to borrow against your XRP later on. And this can be used for any asset class. So you want to borrow against your XRP. you would be using as collateral. Now you can borrow from a bank or from a crypto exchange. Now, preferably somewhere that has a license to, to be able to do borrowing and lending, does KYC, does AML checks, and all the checks and regulatory needs and possibly needs, because you don't want to have your crypto assets stored in an exchange that might later on be investigated by the SEC and you could lose your funds. So I would preferably, if I was going to borrow against my crypto assets, I would be doing it with a bank like HSBC Bank, because I know they have all the licensings needed for them to be operating, which means they're never going to get investigated by the SEC. I'm never going to lose my assets in HSBC when I'm borrowing against them. So if I want to borrow against my crypto assets, I'll be borrowing from HSBC Bank. I'll be putting my XRP down as collateral and I'll be borrowing against it. Now, so for example, let's just say I give them, in this scenario, I give them $100,000 worth of XRP. $100,000 worth of XRP I give to HSBC Bank, and I want to borrow against it. Now, HSBC Bank is not going to be giving me $100,000 on my $100,000 XRP. They're going to be giving me around 20,000. When you build that relationship with a bank, they could give you 50,000 as well, depending on the relationship you have with the bank, but they're not going to be giving you an equal amount. If you want a much more equal amount, exchanges will give you better rates than banks. Banks will provide you safety, but exchanges will give you better rates. That's a given. Not saying exchanges don't offer safety, they do, but banks obviously have a much more higher grade security, and it's least likely that a bank will get hacked. Whenever you ever heard on the news HSBC Bank was hacked, or NatWest Bank headquarters was hacked, you never hear that on the news, but you'll hear a crypto exchange was compromised. So banks will offer you safety, but exchanges will give you better rates. Now, let's say I borrow against my crypto assets, and I put them down, and the bank gives me that money. Then what I will do with that money is use it for the best ROI I can find, possibly in that time, and invest into it and pay the loan back. Now, I'm not going to be taxed on the money that I borrow against the bank and whatsoever. And once I pay that money back to the bank, I can borrow more from the bank because I'm building trust now. So the rates will be better with exchanges right at the beginning. But the bank, you can build that relationship up with the rates. And the more you borrow, the more you pay back, the more you borrow, the more you pay back, the better your relationship will be with that bank. They'll provide you with your own financial advisor from the bank who will help you every step of the way. And the better you build that relationship, the better they'll borrow against your assets. And you can simple taxes. Now, in terms of paying it back, it's a deadline. So it's like you borrow from now and then you have to pay it back certain to a deadline. Depending on what it states in your own contract and whatever the rates are at that moment in time is going to be applied. So that's what's going to be happening. There's going to be deadlines. So based on your question of, can you explain how you borrow against your XRP assets? Walk into HSBC Bank, say I want to borrow against my assets, use them as collateral. They'll sit you down with a financial advisor. And then they'll say, how much are you going to be putting down? You say this much, and they'll say, okay, we'll provide you with this much. Now you can go back and forth with the financial advisor and say, no, I did a little bit more. I did a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. And they'll borrow you more. As long as you have a good relationship with the bank, or you have a good relationship, or you have a good credit score, let's just say, so on and so on. But now, if you're going to be borrowing millions of dollars from the bank, that's a different scenario. Now, if you're going to be putting down $1 million worth of crypto assets, then they're going to give you better rates. If you borrow against $5 million, they'll give you better rates than $100,000. So if you're going to be borrowing in the millions, you're going to be getting better rates coming in because they'll favor you more. And they'll treat you like you're a world champion. So that's how you do it. You borrow against the bank, the rates will be there, build that relationship, and they will have a deadline. And you'll never pay taxes because you're just borrowing against your assets, using them as collateral. Which country, in your opinion, will be the richest crypto nation once all regulations, utility, and adoption is in full motion? Great question. So Free Further has asked the question of which country will be the richest crypto nation? America. Now, some people might be shocked and say, how can America be the richest crypto nation moving forward? Because America is so far behind, is what people might think. America is late on their regulations, late on their innovation, late on so many things in the crypto space. I mean, China is more ahead. Singapore is more ahead. Dubai is more ahead. United Arab Emirates is more ahead. Saudi Arabia is more ahead. The EU is more ahead. Yes, it's correct. That is all correct. It's all facts. Singapore is well ahead of everybody else. And, Hong Kong was ranking second place with essentially the United Arab Emirates. It was a study test that was done by Chain Analysis. Yes, all these countries are well ahead of the United States for now. But even though all of these countries are ahead of the United States, they still listen to the United States. Even though Singapore is ahead of the United States, even though Hong Kong is ahead, even though Saudi Arabia is ahead, even though the EU is ahead, even though essentially, the United Kingdom is ahead, and so on. But they still all listen to the United States, who is behind them. And one good example I can give you, very simple example. There's so many examples I can give you, but one simple example I'll give you. Binance, #1 crypto exchange, biggest crypto exchange. At one point, Binance was humongous as a crypto exchange. Nobody could compare to Binance exchange. Binance was working worldwide. Every country wanted to work with Binance. Japan wanted to work with Binance. Dubai wanted to work with Binance. Hong Kong wanted to work with Binance. Singapore wanted to work with Binance. The EU was working with Binance. The UK was working with Binance. India was working with Binance. And then comes the US and says, yeah, we're going to sue you instead. The EU closes their door on Binance. India closes their door on Binance. Singapore closed their door on Binance. The United Arab Emirates closed their door on Binance. Every country, one by one, said, you know what? We're not really going to be working with Binance that well. So Binance started operating and saying, whoever users we have, they can still use it. New users can't register anymore. And Binance was going through some difficulties at that moment in time, which now obviously their doors have reopened and they've got, licensing to be able to operate in a lot of jurisdictions now. But you see what I'm saying? Every country was ahead of the US. Every country was working with this crypto company, that crypto company, innovation, regulations, policies. And then the US comes along behind everybody else and goes, we're going to sue you instead. And every country just closes their doors on the crypto exchanges. The shops closed. Every country just pulls down the curtain and goes, nope, shops closed. So on the question of which country, in your opinion, will be the richest crypto nation once all regulations, utility, and adoption is in full motion, it's still going to be the United States. There's an old saying from the Bank of International Settlements, the banks of all centralized banks, 63 centralized banks. And the old saying from the Bank of International Settlements is, when the American markets sneeze, the world market catches a cold. So America will be the #1 richest and most powerful country in the digital world, even though it's trailing behind everybody else. They still have the biggest voice, and they will always have the biggest voice. Now, they can't go as low as 20, is going to go to have around 27. Yeah. That's what Trump was saying about innovation. If China opens their doors, it's going to be hard to keep the pace. It won't be that hard, trust me. Is coins are going to be the third party? CoinMove. Is Coinmove going to be having? So my company, in other words. So I have a blockchain company. It's a startup company. It hasn't fully launched whatsoever, but part 1 might be soon on the launch. I've been working for years, so. CoinMove is, for anybody that doesn't know, my own blockchain startup company. I have a lot of companies that work with me. And I'm inside the real estate space. So you can buy properties through CoinMove using cryptocurrencies, genuine properties, not metaverse properties, no, real properties that you can live in. So you can, essentially purchase properties from CoinMove. You can be able to, buy vehicles from CoinMove. You can also, essentially borrow against your assets from CoinMove, use them as collateral. Now that part will be through third parties instead of CoinMove directly. So we're going to be we're working essentially with banks and so on. So they will be the middleman and so on, but you'll be going through CoinMove. But yeah, so many things are going to be offered through CoinMove. Self-storage cold wallets at institutional grade, even for the retail section. So your assets are all secure if you do want that. You can borrow and lend against your assets. You can get mortgages and cryptocurrencies. You can do a lot of things through CoinMove. It's similar to an everything type of app, but I've been working on it for years, and it's a blockchain startup company. But yes, we're going to be also offering essentially borrowing and lending. Deep down, do you believe the United States aren't ahead? No, they are ahead. Look, even, they're orchestrating everything is what I would say. The United States is very good at orchestrating everything. When it comes to financial markets, they're very good at it. They're extremely smart at it. They might be very loud, but they're also very incredibly smart and intelligent. The United Kingdom, on the other hand, is very, very silent, but incredibly intelligent. But we understand why, if they're smart enough, they didn't want them. Yeah. By the way, I think I'm 30 seconds behind you, if not a minute. Now, what we're going to talk about next is Taiwan, because another country has decided to open their doors. So we just talked about China considering to open their doors. We talked about essentially Japan opening their doors completely. And now we're going to talk about Taiwan opening their doors as well. So Taiwan's FSC opens market to foreign crypto ETFs for professional investors. CoinMove will also do hires for cars and jets, which is true. Yes, CoinMove, my blockchain startup company, you can also hire out jets. You can also hire out cars right now. You can also do that right now. I mean, yes, CoinMove is a blockchain startup company, but some parts of CoinMove are functional as of now. Some parts are functional. So you can go and check it out. If you do want to go and check it out, you can go just type in Google CoinMove. The first website on Google is my blockchain startup company. And it's not because of ads. Naturally, it's the first website on Google if you type in CoinMove. But go and check it out if you want to go and check it out. So what is the first part of your launch, Miles? Or will we have to find out a bit closer to that time? The first part is the real estate section is going to be functional. So the first part is the real estate section is going to be functional on CoinMove. So we have a lot of properties that need to be listed on CoinMove. A lot of properties from all around the world, and a lot of agency properties that need to be listed on CoinMove. So the first part is going to be the real estate section is going to be functional on CoinMove. The second part is going to be the automotive space is going to be functional on a worldwide basis with the jets on a worldwide basis, because the jets are only available for the UK and the EU so far. The vehicles are only available for the UK and EU so far as well, not on a worldwide basis. So part one is going to be properties. It's going to be available on a worldwide basis. Part two is going to be vehicles and jets, and any sort of automotive industries are going to be available on a worldwide basis. Part three is going to be banks, and essentially you being able to borrow against your crypto assets, lending, mortgaging, and so on. And there's so many parts to CoinMove that needs to go one by one, and it's going to be it might not be an extremely fast back-to-back progress, but it's going to be a productive kind of movement where it's all within the law, the licensings are there, the transport licenses are there, and it's going to be all, within a legal manner, in other words. I'm not going to be operating in gray areas or loopholes and so on. I want to be all within the law, so I don't get sued later on. So that's what first part is. The first part is the real estate section is going to be completely functional. We're going to have a lot of properties all the way, worldwide properties on CoinMove. And slowly, as we transition through this process, the website is going to change and change and change and change. And then the application is going to be coming out as well. Application will probably come out to end of part one to start of part two. iOS application and Android application will come out as well. When will all CMF get a one-to-one with borrowing against better than any bank? Will the CMF get a one-to-one ratio with borrowing against better than any bank? I will try my best to get a one-to-one ratio for any members of the CMF. I mean, for the CMF, I have exclusive offers available for the CMF whenever they want to borrow against their assets, whenever they want to lend against their assets, whenever they want to, buy a vehicle, buy a property. I will have exclusive deals only for the CMF, because you've been with me since the beginning. And if anybody wants to know what is the CMF or how can I join the CMF, it's completely free to join the CMF. Anybody can join it. It's just join the Telegram group. Join the Telegram group of this live show and be a part of the CMF. And once everything is launched, you will be receiving more benefits than anybody else in the CMF. Now, I care about the number one thing in business for me is loyalty. So if you show me loyalty, I will show you the rest. Will all CMF, so You get the best rates possible. But the land borrow CoinMove goes through a third party. Yes, because you need to have over $100 million to be able to, even establish yourself as some sort of a major establishment bank. Also, you'll fall into other difficulties as well. But eventually, CoinMove will have its own bank. But starting off, we're going to have third parties. So we're going to have, HSBC, NatWest, Lloyds, and so on working alongside us. And also Chase Bank and so on. And then later on, when we do reach a certain limit, we're going to be having our own bank. So we're going to be operating our own bank. But beginning, it's going to be with third parties. Later on, it's going to be CoinMove itself. But alongside the banks as well. We're not going to be getting rid of our partners just because we launch a bank. They're going to be with us as well. If people want rates from the banks, they can get rates from the banks. If they want rates from CoinMove, they can get rates from CoinMove directly. Do you believe a forecast? Do you believe a forecast for the launch of each part, like part 1, quarter 2025? Yes, quarter 1, 2025 is preferably what I'm looking at, but you never know. If you do not mind, please share the live. Let's go. Are you building the app as well? Yes. Me and AI have been working and building the app for years. Are you? So yeah, I am. Don't forget to respond at closing of the live. Everyone presses yes, thanks. Definitely. Thanks for looking out for our family, Miles. Let's go. Thanks, Miles. On a one-to-one and excellent news. Let's go through further. The CMF live shows is already a great deal for me. Thanks, Miles. Let's go, Ginos. CoinMove is going to be great. Bravo. Thank you, Mav. Miles, thanks for always thinking about our CMF members. If you do not mind, please share the live. Let's go. Now, you showed your loyalty to us, and the least we can do is showing ours to you. Let's go. Let's go, Orphan. Now, Taiwan is what we're about to talk about next. So, Taiwan FSC opens their market foreign crypto ETFs as well for professional investors. Something that essentially Japan is just thinking about doing as well. Taiwan is about to do it as well. So the FSC for Taiwan has recently made a major reversal in regulations that permit the professional investors to trade in foreign virtual asset ETFs. This strategic will essentially move to seek an increase in the opportunities in the operations of financial markets in Taiwan in order to increase the market's competitiveness among professional investors. So with China thinking about entering the crypto space, with Japan opening its doors fully to ETFs, categorization of cryptocurrencies, policies, regulations, tax rate cuts in Japan, innovation funds, Taiwan is about to do the same movements. They're about to be opening their doors as well. This decision of the SSC seems to be strategic, managing to address the challenge of global integration of the financial systems while at the same time focusing on stability of the market and protection of the investors. The move signifies Taiwan's willingness to establish a licensed channel for qualified institutional buyers to participate in high-risk investments in the digital asset industry. These are institutional investors, high net worth persons, and those who possess essentially substantial portfolio experiences. Due to several notable risks attached to digital assets, the FSC allows only individuals with adequate knowledge and experience in such risks to participate in such ETFs. Taiwan's FSC new policy on virtual asset market space. In line with this new policy, the FSC has essentially retreated its commitment to stringent oversight of the evolving virtual asset market space. This pretty much includes the continuous monitoring and the implementation of a robust risk management protocols to safeguard against potential market abuse and financial crimes. The emphasis on regulatory compliance is pivotal in maintaining the integrity and stability of Taiwan's financial system, especially concerning the high-risk investment products like digital asset ETFs. The introduction of foreign crypto ETFs for professional investors aligns with similar financial innovations observed in other global hubs such as Hong Kong and Singapore. The exploration of CBDCs in Taiwan includes the developing retail protocols and experimenting with proof of concept projects for wholesale use. However, The central bank has expressed no urgency in accelerating the launch of their scale CBDC, prioritizing instead the foundational aspects of security and functionality within Taiwan's digital policy framework. So Taiwan is also about to be opening their doors completely for cryptocurrencies. Regarding ETF space as well, we could be expecting ETFs sooner or later from Taiwan, which is massive. Now, you might not see this, some people might not see this massive news. Oh, Taiwan's doing ETFs, no big whoop. But Taiwan's about to be doing ETFs. They're about to be having crypto policies. They're building the foundation of cryptocurrencies in their nation before they go on to CBDCs. Now, they're obviously doing CBDC testing as well, but they want to build the foundation before anything else. But the positive note is they're head first into cryptocurrencies, which is what we like to see. Now, what we're going to talk about next, moving off Taiwan and Japan and China news, we're going to crypto assets to London. Valor. Essentially, Valor has debuted its physical-backed Ethereum staking ETP on the London Stock Exchange. The number one thing that was missing from essentially Ethereum ETFs was staking. You know, staking was a big part of Ethereum, which could have made Ethereum a very, very appealing asset when it was an ETF, when it still is an ETF to investors. But the SEC, Gary Gensler, decided to sabotage Ethereum ETFs by not letting them to have staking capabilities, which means it sabotaged Ethereum. Because Ethereum had staking capabilities, believe me, there'll be a lot more money flowing into Ethereum ETFs if they had staking capabilities. But Gary Gensler sabotaged them by letting them not have it. So, something's about to be introduced in London, which isn't offered in the United States so far. ETP issuer Valor has launched a fully backed Ethereum staking ETP on the London Stock Exchange, marking a pivotal step for institutional access to decentralized finance in the United Kingdom. Valor, a Swiss digital asset investment firm run by DeFi Technologies, has introduced a physically backed Ethereum ETF staking exchange-traded product on the London Stock Exchange, providing institutional investors with passive, non-leveraged exposure to Ethereum, while allowing essentially them to earn staking rewards. Investors can now earn staking rewards on the London Stock Exchange with their Ethereum ETPs. This was released today as an announcement. The Swiss firm stated that the product complies with the Financial Conduct Authority's essentially authority and is supported by the ETH held in the cloud storage by custodians Copper Markets AG with staking services. London welcomes the first ever Ethereum ETP with staking. The launch follows London Stock Exchange's guidance for admitting essentially physical-backed crypto ETPs. According to DeFi Technologies CEO Oliver, the product bridges traditional finance and digital assets, offering institutional investors an efficient way to gain exposure to Ethereum and its staking benefits. For Valor, this latest product is an addition to more than a dozen crypto-linked ETPs already available to investors. But what they're offering is staking, which is a big deal, a massive deal, because it's not just you buying a crypto asset as an ETF or an ETP, it's you having the capabilities to make an income out of that, essentially, or a profit out of that crypto ETF or ETP, for example, with staking. The move aligns with a recent development in the US, where the Securities and Exchange Commission approved this Ethereum spot ETFs mid-July, though without staking rewards in the United States, without them. Ethereum staking yields currently around 3.19% per data from staking rewards are expected to gain promise as analysts at Falco X predict a bull market driven by increased liquidity and favorable outcomes in 2024 elections. Facts. I mean, look, what the London Stock Exchange is about to be offering through Valor with the Swiss company that's doing this, it's massive. For Ethereum, it's absolutely massive because it's going to be the first one to ever offer staking capabilities. Hong Kong is thinking about it as well. Hong Kong for a while has been thinking about launching Ethereum ETFs with staking capabilities because Hong Kong said, how can we compete? How can we compete with Ethereum ETFs inside the United States? Well, they don't offer staking. We could offer staking, which would be an edge over the normal ETFs for Ethereum. Well, London just introduced them. Well, Valor has just introduced them on the London Stock Exchange. Physically backed Ethereum ETPs with staking capabilities for investors. What we're going to talk about next is Thailand. There's a lot of countries we're in front of tonight's live show, but before we go through Thailand's news, which is a banking news, which is a crypto news, let's go inside the comment section first. Once again, this is a live show, which means if you have any questions, put it down inside the comment section. Do not be shy. Even if it's your first time watching, it's your first time inside the crypto space, you have questions, go for it. Put it down inside the comment section. I'm reading everyone's questions and answering them one by one. You showed, let's go. Investing in Miles, I'm the OG. Let's go, Scott. Do you think the port strikes in the US, leaving food shortages and over 100,000 workers out of work, could be the start of a major change? Patricia? Major change on, do you think the port strikes in the US, leaving food shortages and over 100,000 workers out of work, could be a start of a major change? Major change in sense of people losing their jobs, and sense of that manner, or a different manner? It has to be slow process like any other business. Yep, I'm going to say this. No, we can't do one-to-one. No, we can't do one-to-one. No. Do you still think XRP holders will be rich by 2026? I have been quiet lately. Harry, good to see you as well. You've been quiet lately. Do I think XRP holders will become rich by 2026? If everything falls into plan, regulations come through perfectly, institutions are in adoption progress, banks are in adoption progress, the sky's the limit, is what I can say to you, Harry. We need more donations. So staking in the UK is for institutions only, so no good for people like us then? No. Well, look, if you want to do staking inside the UK, you can just do staking on a normal crypto exchange or DeFi space. If you want to, as a retail section member, if you want to do staking, you can just do it through DeFi spaces. Obviously, make sure it's a secure DeFi website or a secure exchange if you're staking against your crypto assets. So retail section can already do that. However, institutions, they're not going to be signing up for the DeFi space with trust wallets. You're not going to be seeing high-profile London, City of London companies or City of London banks signing up the trust wallet to enter the DeFi space to stake on their Ethereums. What this offers is for institutions to be able to put, have a capability of staking their Ethereum assets to earn an income on top of it. This could be appealing as an asset to institutions who have more money than the retail section. A lot more money. Miles, I got the inspiration from CEX from CoinMove, but focusing on Kenya. Let's go, Carol. Yep, I know, but it's amazing. Your project is still amazing, absolutely amazing. CEX is also amazing as well. Now, Kurski Bank launches the first ever licensed Thai digital asset custodian. Thailand's Kurski Bank, its second largest bank by asset, intends to launch Orbix Custodian as the country's first licensed digital asset custodian. Kurski Bank is also known as K-Bank. Announced Orbix Custodian obtained a digital asset custodian license from the Ministry of Finance and will be supervised by the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, of Thailand. The Orbix custodian license was granted on September 13th, but only announced 2 weeks later the business is expected to begin operations in early 2025. Thailand's second largest bank is just about to be slowly opening their doors to crypto assets through a custodian that they bought a very long time ago named Orbix, which is massive news for Thailand. Thailand's second largest bank inside the crypto space now, offering crypto services. So the launch of the custody service is the latest in a series of moves from K-Bank as made inside the crypto space. The president of this bank said in a statement, "This will lay a strong foundation for further development of digital financial infrastructure, promoting Thailand as a digital economy hub and advancing the country's digital industry in response to the government policy to accommodate future changes in the financial sector." K-Bank owns Orbix Custodian through its digital-focused Ultra, essentially capital subsidiary. It joins Orbix Invest and Orbix Technology. The Orbix Trade Platform is a cryptocurrency exchange that was known as the stagnant before its acquisition by Unity Capital back in October 2023. Now, however, Orbix Technology offers blockchain infrastructure services fully licensed. That division was inherited from Stagant. At the beginning of September, Orbix Technology launched a Q bond project. A Q bonds worth 500 million BAT, around $15.4 million, were issued on the QX blockchain. Essentially, Q bonds have 1 year maturity and fixed interest rates of 2.38%. K-Bank, a state and owned oil and gas company, PTT, were partners in the issuance. Orbix invests in digital asset fund manager that launched in July. K-Bank introduced Orbix Reward at the beginning of September as a customer loyalty program for Orbix Trade. The customer's first opportunity to earn an Orbix Reward is after completing its Know Your Customer verification. In addition to its digital asset operations, K-Bank's subsidiary, Kesco Bank Business Technology Group, has also joined AI Singapore and Google Research in developing large language models, LLMs. In Southeast Asia projects in Sealed, South Asian Language Models and One Network Data. The project was launched in March, and KBTG's participation was essentially announced soon after. The partners are looking to create LLMs in Thai, Indonesian, Tamil, Philippine, and Burmese. Okay, more countries essentially involved with essentially greenlighting crypto assets. But from this one, Thailand. Thailand's second largest bank, in a much more simple way. Thailand's second largest bank has just greenlighted cryptocurrencies. They have all the licenses they need to operate within the cryptocurrency space, which is a massive news when banks get greenlighted by the government. They come inside the crypto space because they're going to bring a lot more money towards the crypto space. So Thailand got greenlighted. Second largest bank got greenlighted. They have a program by the name of Orbix, which used to be a crypto exchange, a random crypto exchange, which then got brought out by the bank, and now it's this big crypto exchange by this bank. It has all the licenses it needs. It's going to bring a lot of people and adoption into this essentially crypto asset space inside of Thailand, which adds value in general to the world market space of cryptocurrencies. So it's a positive news all around for cryptocurrencies whenever banks and countries start greenlighting things. So you have on one side Japan greenlighting a lot of things inside the crypto space today. You have China thinking about maybe we should re-enter inside the crypto space. You have essentially Taiwan getting ready to enter the crypto space on a massive scale. And then you also have, on top of that, Thailand greenlighting their banks today to get involved inside the crypto space. And on top of that, you also have Indonesia, Filipino, and Burmese and Somalia also getting ready to greenlight the crypto space. A lot of countries are greenlighting the crypto space, and their banks are greenlighting crypto assets for their clients. All in all, massive news. Now, what we're going to talk about next, moving off Thailand, Taiwan, Japan, China news to Australia. Australia, ANZ, is also joining the Project Guardian on tokenized assets. So, Australia's ANZ Bank is partnering with Monetary Authority of Singapore and Chainlink Labs, who are also part of Project Guardian, and ADDX to explore tokenized assets and blockchain interoperability. Australia's ANZ Bank is joining Project Guardian to do testings for tokenization purposes. Now, Australia's ANZ Bank has many partners and they've been involved in many testings. They're trying to pick and choose what is the best method for them for tokenization purposes. So, ANZ Bank, one of Australia's big four banks, has become the first Australian bank to join Project Guardian from the Bank of International Settlements, an initiative by the Monetary Authority of Singapore through the Bank of International Settlements aimed at exploring how real-world assets can be represented as digital tokens on blockchains, according to a press release that was from ANZ Bank themselves. This move allows ANZ Bank to work with Chainlink Labs, essentially, and ADDX to test the exchange of tokenized assets, such as commercial, essentially, paper between private blockchains. ANZ adapted essentially Chainlink's cross-chain interoperability protocol to simulate tokenized asset purchases. This move followed insights from Swift's blockchain probability project started back in June. Tokenization obviously refers to a process of turning traditional assets like money market funds into digital tokens that can be used on the blockchain networks. It converts real assets into digital tokens, allowing them to be traded more easily like stocks or cryptocurrencies. ANZ aims to determine whether these digital versions of real-world assets can move more efficiently and securely across different blockchain networks. The bank hopes that this will improve how money and goods flow across Asia-Pacific regions. Tokenized assets often face interoperability issues, meaning different blockchains can't easily communicate with each other. Interoperability is a barrier to tokenizations, often created isolated networks that don't inherently communicate with each other. ANZ Bank plans to use its experience with digital assets, such as its Australian dollar stablecoin, to help customers navigate this evolving digital landscape. Now, according to a release of Project Guardian, launched back in 2022, it promotes collaboration between regulators and financial industries to enhance liquidity and efficiency in financial markets through tokenization. So, Australia is about to be opening their doors a lot more, because one of the 4 largest banks in Australia is about to be getting involved in Project Guardian, which is massive news. Honestly, thinking about a bank with international settlements, tokenizations, massive news. Now, a lot of countries are very positive on cryptocurrencies these days, especially today. What we're going to talk about next is a crypto project. Lots of news coming out of Australia lately, Miles. Finally, they are starting to make some progress. Facts. Yep. Yay. Some more Australian news. Let's go. That sounds like mass adoption to me. Exactly. There's a reason why Ethereum was the largest stake in the US, is because of one reason. Yep. If they had taken the United States, it would have been the number 1. Yep. Thanks. Facts. Absolutely. Thanks, Miles. No problem. Her any time. If they had, yep. But yeah, definitely a lot of news coming out of Australia. Absolutely. Facts. Shelly, let's go. Now, I have brought you many crypto projects, but not even many crypto projects. To be fairly honest, I pick and choose crypto projects very rarely, because there's too many random crypto projects. There's a lot of scam crypto projects. So the projects in the past that I've introduced to everyone was Measurable Data Token, which was a very long time ago that I essentially introduced to everyone as a project inside a data field that has backings from DWF and investment seed money and so on. And it did very well for itself. And then I introduced, which is still available on all exchanges. And then I introduced everyone to other projects, like, for example, LAT, which is based out of Singapore, which did very well for itself as well. And then I introduced everyone to TON projects, ecosystem, which is amazing. I mean, TON, if you listen to me day 1 on TON, you could have made a lot of money by now. You still make a lot of money moving forward as well on TON's ecosystem. And then I introduced everyone to essentially ONDO when I was first introduced as well. Then I introduced everyone to TIA, which when I was first introduced as well. So all the crypto projects that I've introduced to everyone have all been legitimate crypto assets. I've never introduced a random meme coin project or random unknown crypto project. All the projects that I've introduced since day 1 have all been established crypto projects with venture capital money inside of them or seed money inside of them. They have massive partnerships going on and so on. All genuine projects. Now, and I very recently introduced another project to everyone, which was a project based out of Switzerland. It's a Switzerland project, crypto project that I introduced to everyone. If you haven't seen my video on that, go and check them out. Go and check out that crypto project, which is Stork, in other words. Now, not Stork, sorry. Stonk, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, since I have a Telegram group, if you're not part of the CMF Telegram group, go and sign up, join the CMF Telegram group. If you're not inside of it yet, it's completely free. Now I'm about to be introducing you to another crypto project that I'm also looking into. So once again, at the same time, we're going to be looking into it together. So I came across this project while I was looking for essentially crypto news. That's what's happening around the world, these sort of recent news and so on. And I came across this project. It's inside the cloud network space, which data is massive. As we all know, going into a digital world, data is going to be huge. So you're going to be looking inside of this crypto project, and you're going to be reading inside of this crypto project, also in your own time as well. At the same time, I'm going to be studying it as well. So I thought, once again, instead of me reading into it and checking everything out and then coming out with a conclusion, why not have you read into this crypto project at the same time I'm looking into it? So we're all on the same level moving forward. And at the end, we can all give our perspectives. Not right now. At the end, we'll give our perspectives on what you think about this crypto project going in or going out. Now, This crypto project is the other one I told you about. The Switzerland one raised about $5 million in seed money. They're raising more money. This one is also has raised seed money as well. So Impossible Cloud Network launches ICNT. The token set to disrupt the future of cloud data storage. Impossible Cloud Network, ICN. By the way, it still hasn't launched whatsoever. They've raised seed money. They've done a lot of testings, the maintenance work. So I'll tell you. Impossible Cloud Network, ICN. The frontrunner is Decentralized Cloud Infrastructure. Announces the forthcoming launch of its Impossible Cloud Network token, ICNT. The token will fuel ICN's mission to reshape a global cloud landscape by empowering users to leverage enterprise-grade hardware through a decentralized, accessible ecosystem. Impossible Cloud's enterprise platform is essentially growing and recently surpassed 2 billion clients. Impossible's cloud enterprise platform is growing and has recently surpassed 2 billion clients in operations generated by 800 plus active business accounts. These milestones demonstrate the foundation on which Impossible Cloud Network ICN is building its decentralized cloud services on, driving an ever-growing demand for ICNT token and setting a new standard for the industry. Breaking barriers in cloud services. ICN is designed to merge the power of decentralized Web3 technology and the demands of Web2 enterprises, making it first true Web3-based cloud solution with mass adoption from business customers already. ICNT will be the thriving force behind protocol and enabling secure transactions, rewarding participants and providing governance capabilities. This isn't just about decentralizing the cloud. It's about delivering a faster, more scalable, and more secure solution than ever before. Dr. Kai Wiswer, the CEO and co-founder of Impossible Cloud, explains, with ICNT, we're not only revolutionizing cloud infrastructure, we're creating a vibrant ecosystem where every participant has a stake in its success. This is the future of cloud, and the community will play a vital role in its growth and development. ICN's approach to building a decentralized cloud protocol. ICN's decentralized protocol connects hardware providers and cloud services users on a seamless platform. Whether you're a businessman needing an on-demand infrastructure or a hardware provider, ICNT facilitates all interactions on the network. SLA or oracles play a crucial role essentially in monitoring and ensuring network performance, guaranteeing that service-level arrangements are met. The Impossible Cloud Network Protocol, ICNP, serves as the backbone, coordinating between hardware nodes, service providers, and SLA or oracles to ensure the cloud is always secure, efficient, and cost-effective. A thriving ecosystem backed by real demand. Building an Impossible Cloud's exceptional growth of over 1 billion client file uploads and downloads in the quarter 3 of 2024 already and counting. The launch of Impossible Cloud's network ICN marks the next phase in expanding this proven demand into the decentralized cloud space. By using ICNT, participants not only access critical services but actively contribute to the expanding network, earning rewards and potentially influencing key decisions to shape its direction. ICNT, the currency of decentralized cloud revolution. ICNT is more than just a token. It's the core of ICN's decentralized cloud economy. From securing network resources to rewarding contributors and facilitating transactions, ICNT is designed to ensure the network's continuous growth and security. Holders will also be given a voice through governance features, empowering them to shape the future of ICN. The future of ICN. Community, milestones, and strategic partnerships. ICN's roadmap is backed with game-changing developments that are set to accelerate its growth and industry impact, Earlier this month, ICN announced a partnership with Ether, a major player in decentralized GPU computing services. This collaboration enhances ICN's existing Objectives cloud storage offerings, creating a strong synergy that will propel both networks forward, driving innovation and adoption in the space. This collaboration with ICN marks a pivotal moment in decentralized infrastructure, said Mark Radin, the co-founder and CSO of Ether. By integrating our GPU computing services with ICN's innovative cloud platform, we're creating a seamless, scalable solution that will unlock new possibilities for enterprises and developers. Together, we're pushing the boundaries of what decentralized technology can achieve. With a growing community of over 25,000 followers across social platforms, ICN is building strong momentum as it prepares for an upcoming milestone, including the launch of its testnets, node drops, and even a token fair drop. The launch of ICNT is just the beginning, and ICN is committed to expanding its service offerings, building new partnerships, and making essentially decentralized cloud services the go-to solution for enterprises and developers alike. With $18 million already raised, they've already raised $18 million in seed money. ICN is set to become the #1 cloud provider, computing head-to-head with AWS, Amazon Cloud Services, and other centralized giants. They want to go head-to-head with Amazon's cloud storage service. So far, they've already raised $18 million, which is still massive. For a blockchain startup company, it's still massive to be raising $18 million. And they have 1 billion clients and so on, business clients. And about Impossible Cloud Network. Impossible Cloud Network, ICN, is a decentralized cloud platform that connects enterprise-grade hardware with cloud service providers, leveraging cutting-edge Web3 technologies. Founded by successful serial entrepreneurs with a history of major achievements, ICN is already working with real clients and projects. They already have real clients, real projects going on. They've already raised money as well, aiming to develop a new standard in cloud services by ensuring data security, integrity, and availability while reducing costs and enhancing performance for its users. That is massive. So, 2 nights ago, I brought you a new crypto project based out of Switzerland, which still hasn't launched, but even the Switzerland project is massive. Again, if you haven't checked that out on the live show, go and check it out. And tonight, I'm bringing you another crypto project that, in my point of view, seems interesting. They've already raised $18 million. They're already working with real business clients, billion clients, billion data storages clients. They have everything going on for themselves. Their token has not been released yet whatsoever. They've raised money by themselves. They've got real clients. They've got real business deals going on. They're going to have real developments going on. It's definitely worth a look out. Definitely go check them out. And you're going to be reading into them. Same time I'm reading into them, more and more news comes out. But I'll be sharing more news on this project and the previous project that I shared. And that one hasn't been launched either. That's from Switzerland. That project is going to be launching towards the end of the year regarding their tokens and so on from Switzerland. They've raised money as well. They have real deals going on, real business connections going on that Switzerland project as well. This one also has real clients. They've raised real money. They have real developments going on. They haven't released their token yet as well. Their token's coming out very soon. The other one's coming out by the end of the year. So I'll keep you both updated on both of these projects. So, and as I've said previously, I never bring any sort of random crypto projects to share. I've never brought a random crypto project. I've never shared a random crypto project. I've never shared a meme coin project. I've never shared, a scam project or anything like that. Every project I've shared is genuine. And not a single project has ever sponsored me. Not a single one has ever sponsored me in any sort of way. And neither has this one or the other ones. But I brought everyone MDT, Measurable Data Token. They raised money from DWF. They received $100 million. I shared everyone the project essentially on the ONDO when it was first launched. I shared everybody the crypto project TIA when it was first launched, Celeste. And then I shared to everybody Ton, which is Ton's ecosystem for Telegram. And then I brought you the Switzerland project. And then I brought you LAT, based out of Singapore. And then I brought you this one, essentially, the Switzerland project, and now this one as well, INCT. Check them out at the same time I'm checking them out, in other words. Now, we've also reached the endings of tonight's live show as well. Does ICNT emblem look like a unicorn? No, the unicorn symbol that you're seeing right now is from Uniswap. That's not their logo. And ICNT hasn't launched. So if you see a crypto project pretending to be ICNT, that's not them. They haven't launched whatsoever. They've raised their money. They have their clients, their business clients, their deals and so on, their developments. They haven't launched their tokens yet. So I'm letting you know before they launch their tokens. But I'm letting you know about their clients, how much money they've raised, who's involved, or partners, and so on. Is ICNT an American company? As far as I'm aware, it's based out of Germany, Hamburg. It's German. So, we've also reached the ending of tonight's live show. I'll be sharing that inside a Telegram group. Once again, if you haven't joined a Telegram group of this live show, join the Telegram group. It's completely free. And every night, tune into this live show on X Live right now, or on YouTube Live, because we're live on both of them, and tune into this live show every single night for vital information if you're inside the crypto space, where I talk about cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, politics that relate to crypto assets, regulations that relate to crypto assets, and share you once in a while, new crypto projects that, from my point of view, seems interesting. Due to their partnerships, what they're trying to build, are they going to be in 5 years' time? How much money have they raised from venture capitalists, and so on. So if you haven't joined, if you haven't followed me already, follow me. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe if you already haven't. If you're watching me on X, follow me on X if you already haven't. And tune into this live show every single night. Get involved inside the comment sections. I love it when everyone gets involved inside the comment section. The questions come flowing, and because your question could be relatable to somebody else as well. So follow me if you already haven't on X. Subscribe to me if you already haven't on YouTube and you're watching us on YouTube. Like and retweet as well. And join the Telegram group. If you haven't joined the Telegram group, join Telegram group. It's completely free as well, just like this live show every single night is. This was episode 169 of the CMF live show. So 169 episodes. 169 episodes, I've been giving out free information. 2 hours minimum a day, I've been giving out free information every single night. So if you haven't followed me, follow me. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And join the Telegram group. The link is on X. The link is on YouTube. Both of them on my profile. On YouTube, it's on my About page. Obviously, on YouTube is normally on the About page. And on X, it's on my profile. And this live show, the CMF live show, it's called. It starts 11:25 p.m. every single night onwards, UK time. But if you follow me on X, you'll be notified when I go live, when you click the little bell symbol. If you join a Telegram group, every time before 5 minutes before I go live, I send a message to all on Telegram that I'm going live 5 minutes beforehand. So join Telegram group as well. Please, but every single night, 11:25 p.m. UK time onwards. Please post both cryptos to the Telegram. No problem, Scott. I will. Good night, Miles and CMF. Thank you, Mike. See you tomorrow about the same time as usual. Elon Musk is with them. Wow, I was reading about ATH a few days ago. It is. Mike, see you tomorrow sometime as usual. Scott, I will definitely. Let's go. Does ICTN emblem look like a unicorn? No. Is ICT an American company? German, as far as I'm aware. You're the real deal, Miles. You are one of very few influencers that doesn't show facts. Let's go, Shelly. Miles, I will be listening to this on a replay. I'm so sorry I had in the background. I'm working on an annual report for this nonprofit. I took a role and I've been so swamped with it. But I so enjoy listening to in the background. I understand there's a coin to research. I definitely will. Let's go, happy Pisces, and good luck with your nonprofit as well. Thank you, JP. No problem anytime. Great live, brother. Let's go, Camel. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Mike, let's go. See you tomorrow, brother, sometime as usual. Thanks, Miles, for another great night. Get some sleep now, or you're an AI robot in disguise. Let's go, Addy. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. I hope that's not going to be there. Take your Miles. I think so. Give me a ticket, but I'll share them. I'll share in the side Telegram group. Winning Live, Miles. We thank you for your no problem, Joe. Anytime, brother. Thanks, Miles. Good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow, sometimes usually as well. Good night, Miles and family. Great live. Many thanks. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Same time as usual. Great live. Valuable info. First class as usual. Miles, Jason. Let's go. We thank you for your time, Joe. Let's go. Green Feather. Good night, Miles and CMF. Thanks for a great live and another crypto possibility. Let's go. Miles, thanks for all that you do for daily family group. Let's go, Scott. I will be seeing everybody tonight, basically, because I mean it's 1:41 a.m. right now in London. So I'll be seeing you tonight again, around 11:25 p.m. onwards UK time. So 11:25 p.m. onwards UK time. But if you follow me on X or on YouTube, you'll be notified when I go live. If you click the little bell symbol, or if you join the Telegram group, it's completely free and it's free forever. Everybody's very respectful inside of it as well. You'll be notified as well, when I go live 5 minutes beforehand. And if you do get a chance to retweet, like this on X, like this on YouTube, put a comment after the videos, the live show is done, put a comment. I will be seeing everybody tonight, same timing as usual, 11:25 p.m. onwards. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. Thanks again, Miles. Night and day, all same. Let's go. Shelly, see you tomorrow. Well, tonight, same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you're around the world. CMF, see you.